Hello, Libra. Welcome, my friends, my scales of justice, to your reading with me, Cindy. Libra, my dear friends, we are going to start with the return of Spirit Oracle deck. I'm going to pull out a card for you about your story here. What's going on? A message for you from the divine, from Spirit, from the universe. And then we're going to go into my Muse Tarot. And we're going to just pull out cards. We're going to let it flow. We're going to see where it goes. Yeah. And then I'm going to do an extended. The link is at the top of the description if you are drawn to that. So Libra. Let's see. Let's see, Libra. I'm trying to be cool because I feel like a bit of a clown right now. Because I was out yesterday and I got burnt on my face. And it's mostly this side. Because I was sitting outside talking to a friend in her backyard. And the sun was here. So I have a really like a ruby red nose. So I'm trying to overcompensate. I'm trying to be really cool. But I feel funny. And my face is really warm. So Libra, message to Libra from the Return of Spirit Oracle deck. A message to Libra from the Return of Spirit Oracle deck. Ooh, you have commitments. This kind of reminds me like Four of Wands kind of energy. So really nice celebration, bringing energies together, tying them together, feeling the bond of like spiritual. I'm hearing like the word spiritual love. So let's see where this goes. You have a commitment. Commitment, Libra. You are being asked to make some sort of a commitment. It is both a promise and a responsibility. This could be in connection with a relationship, such as moving in together, deciding to get married, or having a child. The commitment card can also point to other types of commitment, such as starting a new business, planning a vacation with friends, signing up for classes, or taking on any type of long-term project. This commitment is a binding one, and you will not be able to get out of it easily should you change your mind later. This is signified by the bow-like symbol in the fractal image on the card. Whatever the case may be, this commitment does hold soul lessons and was planned before you came here. This does not mean that it is either good or bad, but simply means that this is a fated event. You and the others involved in the situation are fulfilling your soul agreements with each other. This card can also be calling you to make a serious commitment to yourself, whether it is to lose weight, quit smoking, start a yoga class, or go for some healing sessions. You may also need to reassess any previous commitments you have made to discern whether they are still right for you. It would also be wise to look closely at the commitments others have made to you and assess whether they are fulfilling their promise. It might be time to really release them from their commitment. You may be wavering in your decision about a certain commitment. Lean towards the idea that this might actually be the right thing for you to do. Spirit usually replies to the things which are most important to us at the moment. This card can act as a validation that you are heading in the right direction. That's a very nice card. It smacks of Libra energy to me. I mean, there might be things that you're involved in that just don't feel right anymore, but there's probably a part of you that's thinking, well, I don't want to let these people down. But, you know, at the end of the day, if it's not serving your higher good, eventually it won't be serving their higher good either. So that's a way to kind of look at it in balance. Wow, you have change of mind at the bottom. That's interesting. Something may be occurring to change your mind about something. Or, you know, if coming in or out of connections or planning a vacation or not. I think it's kind of funny the way they describe it as, you know, whatever this commitment is, it will not be easy to get out of it. Even if it is just taking a vacation, because kind of once you're there, you're there. So if you don't want to be there anymore, well, you still have to go through the same process that you had to go through to get to the vacation point to come back home. So not to put like so much pressure on you, like, oh my God, I'll never get out of it. Well, maybe it's not something it's something pretty beautiful and divine that you're being guided towards. And there might be some sort of change of mind involved with it. So let's go into the Muse Tarot and see. Now I get like really different messages with this deck. So I just used it for the extended for Virgo, and it was like a message I've never even comprehended that before. So, you know, taking it out here into YouTube, I don't know where to go. Just be open to the message, as cosmic as it may be. Libra. Okay, I'm hearing to pull cards out like it did for Virgo. I'm going to pull 4 out, and there'll be a 5th card, but it sits off to the side. It's not necessarily directly connected to the storyline, but it could, well, it will be somehow connected. It's coming out. Wow. Wow. Your bottom is interesting. Sorry. I'm just feeling very sassy. Yeah. You have, at the bottom, you have the wheel, and then you have the 2 of emotions, like the 2 of cups. Really, you have like really beautiful energy coming in to your reading here, Libra. A change in karmic energy. 2, where does this go? Because this talks about like going into commitments, leaving commitments, making decisions about commitments. What are those commitments? And this kind of feels like that same energy. I mean, these are 2 people that are committed to each other, either committed to doing this dance in the water. It's almost like synchronized swimming. Or maybe they are committed to, it does feel a lot like synchronized swimming. Maybe one of them has air to share with the other, or at the kiss of life. Like there's some sort of commitment that's happening under the water between these 2. And it's almost like a beautiful dance in space and time. But the wheel, which way does this go? Is this something that you're closing off, or something that you're beginning? Is it something you're beginning, or something that you're closing off? Or something that you're deciding about? So you have, the cards that you have, you know, I don't know why I turned the light out. And I don't have my glasses on, so it's harder for me to see. I'm going to stand up and turn the light on in a second. You have the 5 of voices. It's like the 5 of swords. But again, the artwork in this deck is so different that, to me, the artwork surpasses the message that the typical tarot classification of the card would. So then you have the Tower, the Ace of Inspiration, the 8 of Materials, and I love this. This is the 5th card I was told to pull out. And then you have the 8 of Inspiration. Okay, I have to turn the light on. Give me a second. I'm not far. It's just over here. All right. Does it look different? It looks different to me. I can see. So, an olive branch. A change of mind with the olive branch. Look at that. Wow. I feel like something being reconciled. I think a change of mind, right? Like changing your mind about something. Maybe changing your mind about a situation or a circumstance or a person. And the 5 of voices is like the 5 of swords. So there could have been some sort of ending here that wasn't easy for whatever reason. But there's almost like 2 minds to this. But there's an olive branch that comes in. But the olive branch doesn't feel like it's connected to these 2 minds. You and someone else could have difficulty understanding one another. You know, that probably exists in many different elements of our lives. But there's an element here where it's like you and someone else, and you could even be mirroring each other with this, but you don't understand. And there's like a wall that's been built between these 2. I don't understand you energies. I don't understand the situation. or something. There could be two energies trying to come together and something sits between them as well. Ah, that's what that feels like. And it could play out in different ways, like maybe it's not understanding someone or something. But it is some sort of energy that sits between like two people. Could be two levels of your own consciousness. For me, it feels like two people. But take it as you will. And it could be, though, too, because changing your mind, seeing it one way and seeing it the other, and trying to bring those two concepts together. But there's something outside of you, and if this is someone else, outside of you and outside of this person, that negotiates this energy and cleans it. Like, I'm hearing cleans this energy, clears it. This olive branch, where does that come from? It comes from something outside of you. And it's really going to change your mind. With the Tower and change your mind. It's really going to change your mind. Something falls away. There's a little tiny person falling off the rock. So something falls away here. How you understood something to be. How you thought it was. How you... This olive branch comes in and causes something to fall away. And it really changes everything with the Tower. This is a big Tower card. There's a lot of energy around it. And whenever I put it out, I always want to go, like I always want to put it out this way. And then I have to read it. Oh no, it goes this way. It just feels like the balance of this. It's shifting. You might feel off balance at first. But it's almost like something physically happens to you that changes almost your own electromagnetic energy. This might be the kind of olive branch information change of mind that happens to you that could cause you to almost feel like your world is falling away. But instead of that actually happening, some other concept of you falls away. And then what's left is something much larger and stronger, more powerful than this. And it isn't at some level like a death of, could be like a 10 of Swords energy, removing some sort of internal belief system that's kept you small, some sort of belief system about someone else or relationship that's kept it small. And then you end up like your world doesn't have to fall apart. You can actually control how this change occurs. But for that to happen, this little tiny person has to fall away. I always hear, with this deck, when I always see like the cactuses and the aloe vera, I always hear like succulents. And to me, it speaks of, yeah, there's even like the symbol, like it's very Aztec to me, very South American or Mexican. Like just being in a period of time that may have been hot and dry, so like almost like a drought. But while this is occurring, there's like almost like creating your own inner strength here. Like having that, where you've been before, has prepared you for some sort of difficult situation. But that feels like sort of the background information about this Ace of Inspiration. Whatever this olive branch is that comes in, and it could even be something sort of like a divine intervention, because it comes in from kind of like from the heavens, and it's lit up like it's all like really holy looking. And it fixes something. And when this comes through, it changes your perception for sure. It really changes your perception, your understanding of a situation or a person or yourself or all three. And like simultaneously, there is like a death and a rebirth. And the death is this tiny aspect of you, perhaps of your mind or your concept of something that falls away. It's tiny. Let that go. And then there's something much grander here, and that is actually you. You can handle whatever this information is. And I like that it turns like something that is like a succulent into something that would grow in a much more abundant or easy environment, like roses. Roses or peonies. Just think of these flowers as, you know, they're so beautiful, but it's short-lived. Whereas this is something that looks a little bit prickly, but it can get through an awful lot. There's a balance here too in that. Like being fed some sort of information. You're going to receive some sort of information. And how that comes through, it might just be witnessing something playing out. Or maybe you bump into somebody that you had just an argument with, or you haven't seen for years. You lost their contact information, they lost yours, and you're both kind of thinking, well, I guess they never wanted to talk to me again. You know, like it could be something as simple as that, but then something happens here, this olive branch that comes in to fix it. But it's just like, wow, really? Like if it is something like that, like you lost contact with a best friend and years have gone by and they never contacted you, and you're both thinking, well, I guess they didn't want to be my friend anymore. And it just like, wait a second. No, I thought you didn't want to talk to me. Well, I thought you didn't want to talk to me. And this whole concept, which was kept everyone small, falls away. And it changes because now this person is in your life again, right? Like it could be something like that. So now this person is in your life, and it's almost like energized you energetically. Your electromagnetic field like picks up, and you see things differently. Like you can turn the drought into the beauty. That's what that is. You can turn the drought into the beauty. And two, you can look at the drought as if you were disconnected from someone, like a friend or a lover or a relative, whatever that could be for you. This olive branch kind of comes in and it fixes that, or it renegotiates the energy, and you turn this heated drought into something that is kind of beautiful and buoyant and can be touched. Because I look at these prickly plants, you can't really touch them. They're pretty strong, but you can't touch them. Where these are so nice to touch. I've never touched a rose or a peony. They're so plushy. It's soft and plushy and wonderful. And then look at this. Like this is the card that kind of sits off on its own. And the Eight of Inspiration, like the Eight of Wands. Like, whoosh, movement. Catastrophic movement. Interesting burning sun. Wow. Why are there snails? Okay, there's snails at the top. This is literally taking like a stalemate. It almost feels like it's changing a stalemate somehow. Because here, and then we have the snails. The snails are up at the top of this card. But then down here, it's all about movement. So what are we leaving behind but all this slow? This sort of like this slow energy. And what are we changing here? But this prickly. I mean, it's really a strong self-sustainer. And it can get through a lot of difficult stuff. But it's not much nicer to touch the roses. The peonies are plushy. They're beautiful. They smell nice. There's so much, like negotiating something that has been, I'm just hearing a stalemate. Changing that into this abundance. Oh, and look, there is like a little succulent here, but it's not as prickly as those ones. And there's roses. Maybe there's roses and peonies in here. There's little buds. There's more things to bloom and blossom within this. Having a lot of different possibilities and growth and movement and abundance where there was a stalemate. Because there's so many hands moving. So many different beautiful roses and peonies to touch here. And then we have all these many different lines and like 4 different, it's sort of the projection you could say of how quickly she's moving. But again, there's some sort of abundance. Yeah, there's 4 arms. There's 4 people. 4 sets of arms, right? Well, there's 8 arms, but 4 sets of arms. Okay, well, there's 10 lines. But there's 4 people in here. But it's her. So it's you. So moving quickly. I mean, this could also symbolize how quickly her hands move. This is really going from being like stale and stagnant to movement. But it's good movement. It's really good movement. And like being able to, even if you did find yourself in the hot, dry desert, you can move through it really quick. Like if there's still some sort of hot, dry desert ahead of you, there's some sort of information that comes through that allows you to move really quickly through it. It's negotiating the stalemate. Down. Or something of that level. Okay, what I want to clarify is this olive branch. Like, what is this? It doesn't feel like it has anything to do with you. Or this, again, I'm going to kind of keep it at that, just for a simple analogy. That, you know, someone that you were really good friends with, and somehow some sort of separation happened. Maybe they got locked out of their social media. I don't know. You lost their contact information. They lost yours. And both thinking, well, no, yeah. But then the universe makes something happen here. What is that? It's like both of you have your hands trying to push the other one away, but really you're trying to come together. This olive branch, what is this olive branch? What's the 6 of Pentacles? And the moon. So, you know, it's going to be different for different people, so we're not going to get specifics. It's just something that is physically going to bring balance. And it's a mystery. The moon is going to somehow bring some sort of physical balance into what feels like a stalemate or point of separation that brings it together again. I did something that was a divine intervention for another reading a couple of weeks ago. And it kind of feels like that with this olive branch coming from the heavens, the universe. Some sort of outside source that has glowing light behind it. The Tower. You have the Death card and the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles and the Death card. So there's a major ending. Like what was before is no longer after whatever this olive branch is that comes forward. And it changes your mind. Like maybe you really thought that person just doesn't want to talk to me anymore. Again, this is what reminds me of that. Like these 2 energies. Like the 2 of Cups can be a soulmate. It can be your bestest friend that you've ever had. It can be your divine counterpart. It can be, you know, like a sibling, someone that you have a really close connection to. Maybe somebody told something to them. Somebody else told something to you. And there's this energy around the 2 of you that's like, well, why would they say that? Or why would they think that? Or why would they... But it's a switch. It's kind of like bringing this together. These 2 beautiful energies are somehow going to come together. This ending, where maybe it felt like there was an ending in this, but there's a new beginning. And something small, maybe small petty arguments, small petty misunderstandings fall away. The Ace of Inspiration. The Ace of Inspiration, too, where things can grow where many things may not grow with that. The 7 of Swords. Tell me more about that. The 7 of Swords with this Ace of Inspiration. There's so much mystery in this reading. I mean, there's not a lot, but the details are sort of like not really coming out. So we have the 7 of Swords and the High Priestess. Something's going to completely end here. There's something you don't know. God, that keeps coming in my reading. Oh, I hope you guys just figure shit out soon. Because it really, if it's not like the truth coming out or some sort of secrets going on. Again, the 7 of Swords with the High Priestess. Something was taken away mysteriously. Something moved away mysteriously. Why did something move away mysteriously or was taken away mysteriously? The 8 of Wands so that it could come back. which is over here, the Eight of Inspiration. Something had to be removed so that it could come back. It's interesting. The Eight of Materials. Wow, you have the Hermit, the Knight of Swords, and the Two of Cups. Yeah, like something was very self-isolated here. Maybe you were dealing with someone who was very self-isolated. There's been no, there's been no communication, but like rushing forward with the Two of Cups and the Wheel, like a huge change in some sort of cycle with this Two of Cups, with these two energies that are trying to come together, but there's always something kind of keeping them apart. It's going to become plush. Plushy squishy. Like, I shouldn't really do that. I can't do anything on here. It just comes out the wrong way. No, but did you ever do that? Like, feel like a rose in your hand. It feels so soft and it's plushy. The Eight of Inspiration. This Eight of Inspiration. This is like really moving. Well, not too quick though. Not too quick. Well, that's kind of nice because it's sort of telling us that it is moving, but it's moving forward with a steady plan here with the Knight of Pentacles. And then we have the Page or the Knave of Cups chalices here. So, you know, things get off slowly. And maybe that's kind of what that is. If you think about two people that maybe were really close or really had a connection, and then there was some sort of disconnect, and maybe both parties think, well, they don't want to talk to me, or they don't want to see me, or they don't want to. Kind of bringing that together again. It's not like you can just come together and, oh, like none of that ever happened. I don't know, maybe. But this is sort of saying there will be movement, and movement in a very positive direction. But it kind of starts off easy, and it starts off with like a good plan to keep moving forward. Like not busting completely out of the gates and using all of your fuel for the first 10 yards where, you know, you actually have like 500 yards to go. So maybe using quite a bit of fuel with a little something simple for the first yard, and then having a steady foot on the pedal just to go forward. That's really interesting. So what are you going to change your mind about? I got to ask, I'm nosy. Changing your mind. You do have the World card at the end. So the end of a cycle. And then we have that with the Death card. I do feel like there's some sort of an end of a cycle between you and someone that you can't come towards, or can't come together, or you don't understand each other, or you can't, or it's your own mind. Change your mind. What is this you're going to change your mind about? The Eight of Swords and the Four of Cups. No, the Nine of Swords and the Four of Cups. Wow, you've really been in your head about it, whatever it is. Like feeling like a missed opportunity. Like, well, yeah, maybe you... Oh, this could even be like meeting someone somewhere and thinking to yourself, that was a really kind of fun conversation. I really like talking to them. You know, so it could be something simple. Like you bump into someone at the grocery store and you both laugh at... You see something on the front of a magazine and say, oh, did you see that's funny? Yeah, that's funny. And you just start talking about something. Oh, yeah, I know. Me too. And then, you know, one of you is checking out and the other person, and you're both kind of thinking, well, that was a fun conversation. I don't even really know that person. I shouldn't ask them to. But maybe thinking, I should have asked them for their phone number or something. Like, kind of feels like that. And then being in your head about it. Think, oh, my God. So changing your mind. But how do you change your mind about that? Maybe because they didn't ask you. So if you could be the other person in that context, you thinking, well, they never asked for my number, so they're not interested. That's really interesting. Look at that. And then you have the Four of Wands and the King of Swords at the bottom. I told you, this reminds me like of the Four of Wands, like some sort of beautiful celebration, union, commitment coming together. And there you have it at the bottom. And the King of Swords. You and clarity, understanding, knowing, moving forward. What's this card doing here all by itself? Why is that sitting there? It's the Hanged Man. maybe still in the process of changing your mind, of seeing something differently, but this is where the energy is going. It's a really intriguing reading. I like that deck. I should use it more often. All right, I'm going to go do the extended and see where the energy continues to go and get further guidance for you. Thank you so much, Libra. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.